So lads, today we're going to be reacting to the full training camp footage from the Indiana Fever. We're going to be reacting to all of this in one go. This is a video by Scott Agnes. Obviously, I would rather this be in a better resolution, but unfortunately, I'm working off like a 6-year-old laptop that if I try to go full screen and run OBS, it might blow up, and I don't have an external monitor and a bunch of stuff. So unfortunately, this is what we are stuck with. Hopefully we can go and have better setup in the future and do it for this video. But unfortunately, this is an important video to watch. So if you are on mobile, squint a little bit. And if you can zoom in, and if you don't want to listen to me talk, you can zoom in a little bit more, hopefully. And if you're on PC, you know that there is a Control Plus button, or looking into higher resolution, just cut off half the screen. But hopefully you guys can see this. I do apologize if you can't. But we're going to be watching all of training camp from the game. We're going to be watching all the scrimmages, because I don't care if people aren't making, like, there's a lot of missed layups and drills. There's an awful lot. There are so many missed layups today. Like with the Fever, it is concerning. Like normally I wouldn't get concerned about training camp, but it's actually concerning how many people miss layups. But for some reason, this video will not load. I had it all loaded up. I was watching the damn video earlier. For some reason, it just won't. It's my computer just kind of going kaput. Like, it's nothing to do with YouTube. It's my computer. So I closed the tab. There we go. So they're getting shots up here. Okay, so we know who are on. It's the starting five versus the, like, bench of the bench. Michaela Timpson going and switching that screen. Great defense by Michaela Timpson. Great Nash dribble by Caitlin Clark. Good take by DeWanna Bonner. I like the defense by Michaela Timpson. So that possession there, really good defense there by DeWanna Bonner. Not good defense by Natasha Howard, leaving a player open. Michaela Timpson gets it up top. Good enough seal by Dantas. Who threw the bad swing? Jaylen Brown. Oh, by the way, Jaylen Brown just cut her already. That's all I'm going to say from what I've seen. Jaylen Brown. And by the way, Sydney Colson as well. Sydney Colson, I don't know if you're on a guaranteed contract, but like you're there, you're going to be there for vibes. Sophie Cunningham's going to be that backup point guard. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. But like both of them. So looking at this possession right here, they do a horrific job on defense. Jaylen Brown, terrible defense. Dantas is not quick enough to guard. That off a flat hedge. Kelsey Mitchell shoots a step back. Why she shot the step back, I don't know. We're back to bad Kelsey Mitchell right here. What you want Kelsey Mitchell to do is just burn Dantas. Dantas is not in defensive position. Just burn her. You have a right-hand layup, Kelsey. You do not need to shoot the step back long too. Great save by DeWanna or Natasha Howard. Straight to Caitlin Clark, who gets it to DeWanna Bonner. Good off-ball movement by Natasha Howard. What is Sydney Colson doing? Why are you leaking out? You're guarding Caitlin Clark. You don't leak out when you guard Caitlin Clark. So, ball moving. I think, have we seen this possession already? Yeah, it is still really bad pick and roll into the shot by Damiris Dantas. This is the clip we've all seen where they just don't. The bench team does not communicate off this at all. Good by Michaela Timpson, in fairness. And Lexi Hull does a horrible job here, not switching off this screen, fighting over it really poorly. And in the end, switches when she shouldn't have switched here, and it's caught in a mismatch on Natasha Howard. Not ideal. I will say, though, the bench team did not look good at all. Like, brick from Lexi Hull there. Good board by Aaliyah Boston. Teams out there running with Caitlin Clark. Hits a wide open Kelsey Mitchell for the layup, who gets fouled. And this is what you want to see. This is the transition game you want to see. So from the time that she gets the ball at 1:33, and the ball's in Kelsey Mitchell's hands at 1:37. 4 seconds to get the ball up the court. That is what you want to see. So Caitlin still looks like Caitlin as far as facilitating is concerned. Caitlin still looks 100% like Caitlin in these clips. Aaliyah, in fairness, Aaliyah looks like she's in good nick. Aaliyah's looking good. Natasha Howard sets a moving screen. Michaela Timpson switches on to Caitlin Clark right there. Caitlin burns Michaela Timpson, and Caitlin takes an extremely tough layup and draws the foul. Michaela Timpson, in fairness, like, look, Caitlin's going to burn a lot of players. I don't mind that switch. I don't mind, especially because she's being guarded by Bree Hall. I don't mind the switch, but Michaela Timpson's gotta, again, a bit of a rookie. Good help over by Lexi Hull. Maybe or maybe not a foul, to be honest. And Caitlin's lying on the ground. Oh, I would have thought there was a foul. Sydney Colson dribbles down the floor. hits Bree Hall, who makes a really nice layup there. Sophie Cunningham with Caitlin Clark there playing a little bit of the one, pushing the floor, getting it out quickly to the wing, and that's what you want to see. But this is not what you want to see from Kelsey Mitchell. This is really not what you want to see from Kelsey Mitchell. She's got to make quicker decisions. Once that step back comes, like, I understand she did, like, that's such a tough layup. That's too early with 20 seconds to go in the shot clock, taking that. That's not a good offense. Not a good offense, but I liked Sophie Cunningham pushing the ball head up out to the wing. I do like that. But I have to say, that's another ill-advised play from Sophie Cunningham, or from Kelsey Mitchell. Decent defense by Caitlin. One thing as well, they look to be icing screens. They look to be icing all screens on the wing. So, if you don't know what icing is, it's refusing a screen, where you're going to play, or icing, refusing, same difference, where you end up playing over and you kind of send them into the defender. So you can see where the defender is right now, stepping back a little bit, and you see Caitlin. If that defender is not there, Caitlin's giving up a layup. So it seems they're refusing the screens to not really allow them running to pick and roll. And this can be an issue when, for example, you've got Dantas, who can pop out, and you've got a player that can hit Dantas and you can't recover on defense. The thing is, how many stretch bigs are there in the league that will pull with confidence other than Dantas? Steph Dolson. I'm like Malonga, but Malonga's not going to play that much. I like Izzy Marbor's shooter, not going to like shoot that much. Angel Reese. Like, no, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And obviously, you're relying on passes. I don't know, was that a bad pass by Coulson, or was that a bad pass or was that just a bad catch? Oh, it was a horrific pass. Oh my God. Like, bad catch, but it's a terrible pass. So the ball's there. Bree Hall playing the 4 is an interesting one in this lineup as well. Lexi Hull makes a good cut. Natasha Howard swats her at the rim. Right there with this lineup. So Natasha Howard coming out, Bree Turner coming in, and Jaylen Brown coming in for Lexi Hull with the bench lineup on this end line play. Yvonne Ejim scores there. By the way, I actually do rate of how Yvonne Ejim played in the scrimmage. Like, I just think that she was a hell of a lot better. So Coulson's trying to guard Clark right here. DeWanna Bonner playing the 4. Caitlin ends up getting the ball to DeWanna Bonner. Heads to the Bree Turner, who hits Caitlin Clark on a cut, right back to Bree Turner. Great finish. I do like that play. And again, there's a lot more ball movement there. A lot more ball movement we've seen so far. We've seen very little of Caitlin looking for her own, though, I do have to say. But again, it's first day of preseason. I think she's just trying to get others involved. So they are very much, by the looks of things as well, they're trying to keep the ball on one side of the floor. It looks to be forcing baseline, which is at least something. It's something. Like, again, we can debate for hours whether it's more beneficial to force middle or force baseline, but it's both are more beneficial than just do whatever you want, which is what they did last year. So it does seem as much as like they are trying to force baseline here, and it is Sydney Coulson. So Bree Turner is in position to play that help. So she's forced. So what Kelsey Mitchell's done is she has beat Sydney Coulson to a spot. She's not allowing Sydney Coulson to Nash dribble, which can be extremely difficult. However, DeWanna Bonner is very out of position here. There's no reason for DeWanna Bonner to be playing that high on Yvonne Ejim. She should be probably more so around the elbow in that scenario, but look, it is what it is, and Yvonne Ejim ends up getting the ball. She does recover okay, and that's a rookie shot. That is a rookie shot if I've ever seen one. That's not a good shot. Ball gets rebounded by Caitlin Clark, looks up, DeWanna Bonner's already out of there, gets it to Bree Turner, who misses the layup. It's fine. Missed layups will be concerning if they happen during the season, I will say that. Caitlin Clark burns Yvonne Ejim. Yvonne Ejim gets back, though. Caitlin burns her again, hits Bree Turner again, who misses another layup. Come on, Bree. Only positive, Bree Turner's positioning's been good. But we can't have another year of missed open layups. So Sydney Coulson is trying to ISO Caitlin Clark, throws the ball directly to DeWanna Bonner, and nobody runs back. Bree Hall gets back slowly on defense. Yvonne Ejim has to panics and tries to guard Caitlin Clark and Jaylen Brown. And I've already broken down this clip. It is, first of all, it's Bree Hall's fault for walking back on it's multiple players' fault. Sydney Coulson for turning it over and then just clapping her hands and looking away like it was someone else's fault. Jillia Lane decides instead of guarding the threat to go, like Jaylen Brown has already covered her player. So if you're looking at this play right here, so what happens is, if you're looking, so Jaylen Brown is meant to be guarding Caitlin Clark. But Jaylen Brown, because DeWanna Bonner, who's obviously behind Bree Turner, has an open layup, DeWanna Bonner is being guarded by Jaylen Brown. However, Jillia Lane, who's standing here, instead of doing what you're meant to do, cover the damn threat, because the only threat is the ball at the end of the day, she decides to run behind DeWanna Bonner and then trying to push Jaylen Brown out to Caitlin Clark, which doesn't make any sense, while also Bree Hall's still in the backcourt. So, the first time I looked at this, I was like, oh, it's a Jaylen Brown defense. No, it's a Jillia Lane defensive lapse right here. But it's a real bad defensive lapse. It's like, if you've ever coached, you can make a defensive lapse. But let's just say, hypothetically, if you're playing against the Warriors, if you make a defensive lapse and you've given Jonathan Kuminga a driving lane to the basket, okay, it happens. But if your defensive lapse leaves Curry wide open for three, or Prime Clay wide open for three, you're sitting your ass on the bench. Like, that's just the reality of it. So that is the shot that ended the scrimmage. And that's the scrimmage footage. That is the scrimmage footage. So obviously after that is some drills. I don't know what the drill is, but there is just a lot of kind of the stuff that we saw in workouts. A lot of missed layups in these drills, but Caitlin Clark driving to the basket, giving it in. So it's a lot more of that stuff. So the drills are just their actions. The drills in this are literally trying to replicate in-game actions, which I like to see. Teams doing stuff like this, but we're not going to go too much in that. We're only going to cover the first couple of minutes of the scrimmage. So as to, if you want to see the rest of it, you can go to the Scott Angus YouTube channel. So we're only breaking down that part because obviously, again, when it comes to the fair use laws, I'm not trying to replace the content. I'm breaking down I'm breaking down a scrimmage. But yeah, so that is pretty much it. I do have to say that the scrimmage looked pretty good. The scrimmage did look pretty good. I gotta be honest. You can, when you're looking at the key players, Bree Turner missing layups was a bit of a negative, but outside of that, the starters and main rotation looked real good. And Bree Turner, in fairness, off the ball, she looked real good. Her defensive positioning is good. There's a lot of positives to Bree Turner. Their defense looks so much better. Not that the individual players are better on defense, but I always say this about defense, is bad defenders with a good philosophy are going to be a mediocre defensive team. Like, you can make bad defenders look passable on defense with a good defensive philosophy and a good anchor. And that's why, like, Cheryl Miller was talking about how much better Caitlin Clark was on defense than she thought. The reason was that she was giving Caitlin Clark instructions on defense, and she was able to, like, deal with them and do what she was told to do because she's a high IQ player. The difference is Christy Side's defense was hold the other team less than 84 points. How are we going to do that? I don't know. Their actual tactic last season, I'm not joking, was to leave the other team open and hope they missed. Watch the Liberty game when they won. And I mean this. I remember literally watching this game and I'm like, the Fever's tactic is to not guard anybody. And then at the end of the game, they were like, oh, we held them under this amount of points, we won. I'm like, they just had like a historic, like a rare, unbelievably cold night. They were just nervous as heck. I don't know why they were nervous as heck, but they were nervous as heck. They couldn't hit a shot. Like, they could have had 130. You just left them open all game. You literally just left them wide open. You didn't guard anybody. And even the Mercury game, when they won, first game after the Olympic break, when they went up like 30 and nearly blew it. If you watch that game, they did not guard anybody. Like, they just decided, Taurasi, we'll leave Taurasi standing there in the corner. Like, the amount of possessions where I saw them sprint off Taurasi to, like, contest a Brittany Griner pump fake three, or to contest Natasha Mack at the 3-point line. I'm like, are you dumb? Are you dumb? And, like, it wasn't even that. It was Christy Side's ball. It was Christy Side's strategy of our defense is, let's hope the other team don't score that many points. And it was just ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That is a breakdown of the scrimmage footage. The negatives I will talk more about, and it's very clear who should be the player that the Fever bring in. It's Michaela Timpson. Like, it is so clear it's Michaela Timpson. Jaylen Brown looked so bad. Like, again, it is a very small sample size. She looked awful. Sydney Colson looks awful. Oh my God. Like, she looks absolutely awful. There's going to be a video on that. She looks terrible. Like, on both ends of the floor, she looks so bad. Yvonne Ejim, I just don't think is good enough. She didn't look bad. You can just tell just how she plays. I just don't think she's a high enough level player to make this roster. And Bree Hall, again, playing the 4, maybe a bit out of position, but just her not running back on defense that one possession, the last possession of a scrimmage. I don't care. When you see that shot clock going down, when you are fighting for your life, you sprint back. When you are fighting for your life, you sprint. I'd understand, again, if someone on a guaranteed contract is like, oh, it's the last possession training camp, I'm not bothered. But when you have not got a guaranteed contract and you're not likely to make the team, you are sprinting back. And she didn't even make it into the backcourt when Caitlin Clark hit the 3. So, and for the new players, Natasha Howard doesn't look great on defense. I know she had the block, and Lexi Hull does not look great. Duana Bonner looks unbelievable. Kelsey Mitchell, you can't let Kelsey Mitchell make decisions with the ball in her hand. Like, you cannot give Kelsey Mitchell freedom with the ball in her hand. She's got to be that off-ball player. The more this, like, she makes bad decisions when she isn't just one dribble layup or catch the ball layup or catch it shoot. She makes real bad decisions. So I hope as the season goes on, the ball's in her hands less. But also Sophie Cunningham kind of playing as a backup point guard could be beneficial. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.